Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter.
You're watching Southern Television, where at 6 o'clock the Day by Day team take us day by yesterday. First of all, time to go over to ITN for the latest national and international news.
When TV channels close down for good, for the most part these days, not much is made of the moment. You may get a static slide thanking you for viewing, and that's about it. But back in the 20th century, if a television channel was to cease broadcasting, you best believe it was made out to be a big deal. The various companies that made up the ITV network did this in a rather interesting fashion. For ITV as a whole, wasn't ceasing broadcasts. Moreover, through ruthless financial rounds, different companies would instead come in and win over the Independent Broadcasting Authority, or IBA, and thus gain control of the license to broadcast in a particular region. At the dawn of the 1980s, a new franchise round took place, and Southern Television, who had been operating on a mostly comfortable basis since 1958, weren't sweating too much. They had a main competitor, Television South, or TVS, who were putting every effort into making their pitch to the IBA. Southern's initial pitch was just 16 pages long. Despite proving they could produce successful programs, including local ones, Southern would end up losing the franchise to TVS. Speculation was afoot that Southern had merely submitted the tried and tested method that they built upon for decades. Well, surely that is a good thing, right? After more than 20 years on the air, surely that has to stand for something. Well, aside from the stock announcement from the IBA claiming that they believed TVS could offer more investment and a better variety of programming, it was believed that the IBA felt Southern's tested methods wouldn't represent the evolution of the area as the 80s went along. This is all speculation, of course, but one way or the other, Southern would be out and TVS would be in.
On December the 28th, 1980, Lady Plowden, the outgoing chairman of the Independent Broadcasting Authority, announced a major change of direction for television in the south of England. An 8-year license to broadcast was granted to TVS, a new company to replace Southern Television, who'd been responsible for commercial television in the south of England since 1957.
Were you surprised?
Oh yes, too damn right.
As a relative newcomer, my impression is that the daily news programmes, the programmes we do for the network, our arts programmes are first rate, and that on the basis of programming, there's no reason to take the licence away.
And what do you think about Southern losing the contract? Got any jobs going at your place?
As the end drew near, earmarked for the beginning of New Year's Day, 1982, staff at Southern were unsurprisingly saddened at the news. Many personnel had been with the company for years, even decades. So, to have what felt like the rug pulled from underneath their feet must have understandably hit hard. Higher management at Southern appeared to be more venomous, aiming their anger at incomers TVS as opposed to the IBA, who actually made the decision to award the licence.
Well, in a few minutes, the Managing Director of Southern, Mr. Frank Copplestone, will be releasing a statement to the press. That statement will say that no hasty decisions are being made about their staff or their studios. Of course, the new ITV service for the South would like to take over those purpose-built studios.
Southern would hold on to its studios until the last moment, resulting in TVS having to set up shop in porter cabins in the car park until they took over broadcasting duties. In a song featured in one of the last Southern programmes, Day by Yesterday, a special edition of Day by Day, singer Richard Stilgo takes many playful jabs at the newcomers based on this situation.
Nevertheless, tomorrow it does all change. 1982 really is a new year so far as television in this part of the world is concerned. And as befits a programme going out at the end of the old year, we thought that we ought to look forward to the new year. In a slightly irreverent way, Richard Stilgo looks forward to 1982 and the new company which will be responsible for the programmes appearing on your screen from tomorrow morning.
As you really know, their name, this firm that is waiting to take over, is Porter Cabin Television. And to close with, here is a little song about them. We are Porter Cabin TV, and we can't believe our luck to have got the bit from Channel to North Sea. To be frank, we thought the best would have been to go for Westwood or Yorkshire or even ATV. We are Portakabin TV, our approach is fresh and new. You won't see us making shows just 'cause they pay. There'll be no more 3-2-1, and crossroads we will shun, well, at least for the first 6 months anyway. We are Portakabin TV, Gatwood, Boston and Blackstad, and on January the 1st our flag's unfurled. Our future is assured, we've a lord upon the board and someone who once did tomorrow's world. We are Portakabin TV, and the southeast of our patch is top of our list of priorities. It will be all systems go in our Maidstone studio just as soon as we find out where Maidstone is. We are Portakabin TV, and our paper's brown and cream, not that nasty southern TV, white and blue. And we all say yours sincerely when we finish letters off. Hugs and kisses, Brian Izzard, just won't do. We are Portakabin TV, and we promise we will change everything so that all is new and vital. The show to alter most will be our nightly Coast to Coast, which is really day by day with a new title. We are Portakabin TV, and we're dropping lots of shows. I'm afraid to how we all must say goodbye, because we don't know how, but we do know when. It's now, and what people want to know is not how, but why. We are Portakabin TV, and all that's going to change is the local television station's name. We would change things if we could, but Southern was so good. We've decided to leave everything the same.
Could do worse, mind you, couldn't they?
Perhaps not the most mature way to welcome in your replacements, but not even jovial parody songs could save Southern from the end. The final few days of programming teases the final show that would air on New Year's Eve, and it's goodbye from us. At 11:45 PM, it began, hosted by none other than the cyber leader. No, I'm not joking. This is Christopher Robbie, a man of many talents, one of which was indeed playing the cyber leader in the 1975 Doctor Who story Revenge of the Cybermen. But perhaps more notably, he was a popular continuity announcer and presenter for Southern Television, and seemed like the perfect man for the job of seeing out the company's final programme.
New Year's Eve is a time for celebration and not for lament. So essentially a light-hearted look back at some of our achievements.
Christopher introduces a montage of some of Southern Television's history, including clips from many of its programmes, accompanied by a quite beautiful original piece of music, Southern Fantasia.
Southern Fantasia, composed specially for us by Jonathan Burton and played there with their customary panache by the Bournemouth Sinfonietta. And I think we should take this moment to thank the Bournemouth Sinfonietta, thank their conductor, Owain Arwell-Hughes.
Did he say Owain Hughes?
Owain Hughes. And before you ask, no, I don't.
After some more musical highlights from the likes of Grace Kennedy and Cliff Richard, and celebrity appearances from Robert Hardy and Alec Guinness, I think one of the most poignant moments plays out. It comes from singer Lillian Watson, who sings a melody of goodbye songs, beautifully introduced by Christopher Robbie.
She's going to sing a selection of songs to suit the occasion. Miss Lillian Watson.
Then it's time to truly say goodbye.
Goodbye songs from Lillian Watson, because it's goodbye time. We said at the start we'd come to celebrate, and I think we had. We've enjoyed remembering, and I'm sure you won't forget. So with a final farewell smile from those Southern people who've become, for many of you, true friends, it's goodbye from us.
Christopher Robbie once again delivers a gentle but very touching farewell message to all of the Southern viewers who were watching that New Year's Eve night. As the Southern Fantasia blazes out, the camera pans across several of the most prominent people at the station, many of whom audiences will have become familiar with on their day-to-day TV viewing. As the music builds to a grand finale, the lights begin to dim, as audiences bid goodbye to the people and Southern itself, after more than 20 years on the airwaves. The iconic ident is seen for the last time, amidst a starry sky. Would viewers hear that familiar jingle one last time? Of course they would. But with that, Southern television was no more. For the year was now 1982, and it was time for Television South to take the reins and make good on their pitch to both the IBA and to the millions who would be watching.
Good morning. It's New Year's Day 1982, and this is Television South, TVS, the new independent television company that's proud to serve both the south and southeast of England. To begin with, we bring in the new with, for the first time, our symbol, which will soon become very familiar.
Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Shaun Knock, Daud Khan, Ajmac 200017, Deck, Jen, Traffi, Evonne 41, Tim Ripley, Mr. Eurovision 1986, Marnanel Thurman, John Wakefield, Kieran Bolton, 40-something Manchild, Jerry Ralph, John McLeod, Saint Rocket 9, James Wallace, Ben, Kat Hegarty, and Stephen Oliver, our AMTV staff members.